Has not seen that long ago that we were here watching the Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56, that we were down on Figueroa at the Coliseum celebrating the championship, and here we are, the defending Super Bowl champs. We're going to see them unveil the banner, and we have a game that we might see at the end of the season all over again between the Rams and the Bills.
We are here, man. It's finally back, and I'll go back to February when you mentioned it. We were here, and we saw the Rams win that Super Bowl. And I remember going out of the stadium that night saying, can you believe that this journey that started way back in 2016, me and you, we sat down and we were at the LA Coliseum. There was no SoFi yet. There was no groundbreaking. It was still
it's a hole in the ground.
It's a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
It was the big giant sinkhole, right? And every year, we watched as you flew into LAX and you kept looking and you kept looking. And you saw the stadium start to get built, but you saw the players and you saw the coaches. And to see the way that everything ended last year, it was picture perfect. And then you left there saying, gosh, that was fun. Can we do it all over again? And I think that's the point where we're at now as the season starts. And you want to see if this team can repeat. Can they have the magic that they had a year ago? Definitely be some new names, some new faces that are here. But, man, every time you walk into the stadium, you're remembered of that night in February.
All right, we're going to talk about some of those new names and new faces. We are here at the Stat Hero broadcast booth here at SoFi Stadium. Stat Hero is the daily fantasy app that focuses on player lineups, not Vegas lines. Sign up today at stathero.com. Use the promo code 710 for a 100% deposit match. That's promo code 710. Stat Hero, reshaping the future of daily fantasy. So, I've been out here, Kirk. You're here on the south side of SoFi Stadium. They just let people in about maybe a half an hour or so ago and start coming in and getting ready for the game. Had a whole bunch of Rams fans come up to me like they do before the start of every game, but there was an unbelievable common theme. Without exception, everybody that walked up to me was saying the same thing. I can't. Everybody's excited for a new season. The Rams under Sean McVay have been good every single season. So it's not like, hey, you're finally good, but there is something about this group trying to become the first group to run it back since the Patriots in 04. And it feels like they have you're going to get fortunate. You got to get a little lucky. All that, they got to stay healthy, all these things. But this is a team that's good enough to win another Super Bowl.
No, I totally agree because a lot of the familiar characters will be back. The quarterback, Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford, then Cooper Kupp, then Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. I mean, we could go on to name the list after player, but I think more importantly, to kind of go back to what you said, I think the reason why so many Rams fans have been so excited, Travis, is because there's a team that plays in Inglewood, and they're going to play for a championship again. They're going to try to repeat as champions. Sounds a lot like the Lakers.
It does.
Sounds a lot like the Dodgers. In a city of champions, right, Los Angeles, you think that the Rams are really the last team truly to celebrate a championship with its fans. Mm-hmm. And last year kind of caught people off guard, I felt, because you knew they had the talent, you knew they had a good opportunity, but by the Rams going out and winning and seeing that parade go down Figueroa, right, seeing the parade and everybody who was involved, it was like, wow, we're celebrating our champion. And I think people bought into it so late. It was like, well, you know what? I want to do it again because I want to go back and remember where you were, how it happened. So I think that's some of the motivation that we hope to see again this year from the fan base because you want to see that repeat. You want to see the fans. I mean, you want to see the team go out and do it again and really embrace. I thought last year was an embracing of the team more so than any time they were in Los Angeles. To everybody say, hey, being a Rams fan is pretty cool.
Winning is fun.
Yeah,
everybody likes winning, and this team is going to win again, and this team should be in the mix all over again. And, Kirk, I go back to when we were at UC Irvine at training camp, and we sat with Rob Havenstein, and we talked with Les Snead, and we talked with everybody that we got a chance to speak with, and the theme was that was a great run. We're thrilled. We've got our rings, but we're getting ready for the 2022 season. We're not thinking about repeating. We're thinking about having a great season. How difficult, how challenging is it to go from a sense of, hey, listen, coming into last year, for instance, you knew they were going to be good.
Correct.
The question was, how good is Matthew Stafford going to be in this offense? How quickly will he pick it up? Will he be the difference between where they were before, kind of capped out at some point, and are they good enough? There's no question about that anymore. You know that this team is good enough to go win a Super Bowl. How do you start to think of this in terms of, hey, we don't have to go do it again. We just have to be a really good football team in 2022, and it starts tonight with Buffalo.
I think it just starts with understanding that this is the first brick. Right? This is the first layer. This is the foundation of who you're going to be in 2022. You don't have the same identity as you did a year ago. The identities change. I think if you thought about last year, going into the season, what was the Rams' identity? They didn't have one. They had a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They were without their starting running back, right? They had a couple of receivers who played well together, but you still didn't really know. People forget that Deshaun Jackson actually was part of that receiving corps to start the season. The defense was a couple of guys who were unknowns, right? You didn't know. We know Jalen Ramsey. We knew what's going on with Aaron Donald, but a lot of other guys we just didn't know. And so I fast forward to where we're at this year, and I say that you look at the Rams team this season to start the season. Are they not better than where they started at last year? Think about it. Minus the Odell Beckham, minus the Von Miller, those guys came during the season.
Sure.
I'm looking at right now, I think that this team is better to start the season than they were a year ago. And that just tells me that you get excited that they not only can repeat, but if you have a piece that's missing, if you're not all the way whole in one area, you also have a general manager that you just mentioned in Les Snead, who's not afraid to say, you know what, let's go make a trade. They're not afraid to go ahead and spend money. They're not afraid to go ahead and give up draft picks.
Shoot, like they say, let's shoot our shot. You know, you only
Yeah.
get so many chances at this when your window is as open as theirs is. Let's not nibble around the edges. Let's take a big bite.
Yeah.
Let's shoot our shot
Exactly.
and see what happens. And we found out earlier today that both Sean McVay and that we've known is going to be extended for a while. Les Snead as well. They're going to be
Rob
with the team
Havenstein, all them
for 5
dudes.
teams. Yeah,
Everybody got paid.
Hey, listen,
Everybody getting paid.
you win, they're going to hand out some checks, and they're absolutely making it happen. Let's talk a little bit about today's matchup, which is driven by Mazda of Claremont. Your next Mazda is waiting for you now at Mazda of Claremont and MazdaofClaremont.com. So what has to go right for them tonight? You talked about there's going to be some new faces. There's going to be some guys that weren't here at the end of the line. There's no Odell Beckham Jr. right now. There's nobody that's in a position right now like Von Miller, obviously, on the other team. What needs to go right for the Rams tonight?
I think just to be themselves. I mean, really, you're not playing against just the Bills, and this is kind of cliche, but you're just playing a football game.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing with your guys. This is the first time that this Rams starting unit of 2022 will have played in a competitive football game. Think about it. They didn't play in the preseason.
They haven't really gone at it since the Super Bowl.
February 13th.
Yeah.
If you want to know, Matthew Stafford hasn't thrown a meaningful pass since that final pass he threw to Cooper Kupp for a touchdown.
At least they made it count, right?
One that counted. But they haven't done it since February 13th. Preseason was not one in which the starters were out there. So, to me, that's who they're competing against. They're competing to find out. And again, I go back to what you just talked about, their new identity. Who are you going to be in 2022? Really, is this going to be a run-oriented football team? Or last year, we didn't think Cooper Kupp would have one of the greatest seasons ever for a wide receiver in NFL history.
Right.
So who's going to be that guy? We still want to see what does Allen Robinson bring
Bobby
to
Wagner.
this football team. Bobby Wagner. You got a guy who is a perennial all-pro every single year. Guess what? He's now a captain. He'll be wearing the C on his chest, but then also barking out the signals on the defensive side. So it's fun to see the new faces, and I think that's what excites me the most is that it's not just the same guys. It's the guys who are, for me, that are new, that didn't experience it last year, that get a chance to be a part of it this year.
New last year, not new this year. Let's go to
Right.
Matthew Stafford next. Matthew Stafford, Rams don't win the Super Bowl without him. It's as simple as that. If he doesn't play the way he played against Tampa, they don't win that game. If he doesn't play the way he played against San Francisco, they don't win that game. And they sure as you know what don't win the Super Bowl if he doesn't do some things that are amazing. If I told you how many times I watched him throw that no-look pass to Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl, you'd
Right.
think I had OCD. Because I must have I've watched it hundreds of times. It was
Right.
the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. Could he be better this year? We'll get to his elbow in a second, but let's
Correct.
assume that he's healthy. Let's assume that he comes in and he's ready to go physically. He's been in the league a long time, but this is only his second year with Sean McVay. As good as it was in year one, how much better could it be in year two?
I mean, I think he can be – honestly, I don't want to put the expectations because once you start to put expectations and people expect that, right?
Yep.
Kind of similar to what the team that's coming in here wearing the blue, right? The
There's
team
a few
that's
of them here
wearing-
today.
Yeah. They're expected to go to the Super Bowl and win. Okay? That's just the way. They're favored to win favored to win today's game. But I bring that up because my expectation for Matthew Stafford is to just be the guy that you were last year. Not the guy that you were in November, because that guy was not good.
Yeah,
Okay?
not his best month.
It's not his best month. But the guy who last year, to be honest, when the game was on the line, and we knew about Matthew Stafford in Detroit and his 2-minute comebacks and
Yep.
how he had to bring that team back from but it's different when you saw it with the Rams. There was no panic throughout the season, but more importantly, the postseason. that when the Rams needed a play at the end, he was there. He was a guy that was making plays. He did it in every single game. You mentioned it. I mean, that throw against Tampa, right? The 49ers, he's down driving, right? And then in the Super Bowl, the most important drive of it, he's throwing no-look passes like you mentioned, but then finding Cooper Kupp for a touchdown. Like, it's, to me, my expectation for Matthew Stafford is just to be who you are. Be the same guy that was the general last year. Do what this team needs from you, expects from you to go out and do each and every week, and all the awards and accolades will come with winning.
Give me an idea of what you think we're going to see from him physically. That Sean McVay says he's ready to go. Matthew Stafford says he's ready to go. But fact of the matter is, he didn't throw in OTAs. He was limited in how much he threw during camp. Obviously, he's not going to play in the preseason. But they've been cautious about how they've managed him during the offseason. Is it just full steam ahead when we get to 520 tonight?
Yeah, it's full steam. There is no restrictions. I think it's honestly been blown up just a little bit, Trav, only because you have a situation where there is no storylines with the Rams. Like, honestly, what's the biggest storyline going into the season? Matthew Stafford's elbow?
Yep.
This is a team that won the Super Bowl, and they got a majority of their players coming back. We're not even talking Allen Robinson. We're not talking much about Bobby Wagner. It's the elbow of the starting quarterback who actually practiced throughout training camp and says, hey, I'm full go. I'm ready to go. I think it's funny that we have that conversation sometimes outside of here. We know what is going on, but outside, what about the elbow? Elbow's fine. He'll be fine.
Cannot wait to see it. You are listening to the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff. Buffalo Wild Wings, home of the best happy hour in L.A., 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. every weekday, only at Buffalo Wild Wings. Torrey Holt scheduled to come by and join us at some point during the pregame show. Plus, we're going to hear from the voice of the Rams, J.B. Long. That is coming up on the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff on 710 ESPN. Football fans, want to win $100 for picking 5 games against the spread? Just download the Cover 5 app for free. Compete with Travis and Sliwa each week for a chance to win $100. Here's what you need to do. Download the Cover 5 app, use the code TS22 to join our show league and start having fun all season long. Just download the Cover 5 app, use the code TS22 to join the Travis and Sliwa Show League, pick 5 games against the spread to win $100, or play all season long at cover5.com.
Football fans, want to win $100 for picking 5 games against the spread? Just download the Cover 5 app for free. Compete with Mason and me each week for a chance to win $100. Here's what you need to do. Download the Cover 5 app, use code MI22 to join our show league, and then start having fun all season long. Just download the Cover 5 app. Use code MI22 to join the Mason and Ireland Show League. Pick 5 games against the spread to win $100, or play all season long at cover5.com.
Football fans, want to win $100 for picking 5 games against the spread? Just download the Cover 5 app for free. Compete with me and Cappy on Sedano and Cap each week for a chance to win $100. Here's what you need to do. Just download the Cover 5 app, use the code SK22 to join our show league, and start having fun all season long. Just download the Cover 5 app, use the code SK22 to join the Sedano and Cap Show League. So pick 5 games against the spread to win $100. It's really that simple.
Your NFL career, and of course, the team that Las Vegas thinks is the most likely team to win the Super Bowl this year. In fact, Buffalo comes into this one. Last I looked, a 2.5-point favorite against the defending champs in the defending champs' house. I'm not quite sure how that all adds up, other than it means that everybody thinks that the Buffalo Bills are going to be pretty good this season. Are you buying the Bills' hype?
I'm buying the hype, yeah. I'm buying the hype that they're the best team, I believe, right now in the NFL on paper. The only thing is they got to go out there and play. And then you look about this. I believe Vegas must have had a lot of people from the state of New York, especially Western New York, throw a lot of money down, probably influence Vegas. We got to do something. Just make Buffalo the favorite because all that money on them, I got to go with the home team, man. Home team on banner reveal night, coming off the Super Bowl, all the experience in it. Rams win, and a lot of angry Buffalo Bills fans.
All right, right now let's go to the voice of the Rams, JB Long, who goes inside the numbers, brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. It fixes tired fast.
JB Long here inside SoFi Stadium with a name, a number, and a nugget to get us set for the NFL's kickoff game. The name I have in mind is that of Ken Dorsey, first-time play caller for the Bills as their new offensive coordinator. His predecessor, Brian Daboll, is now in New York after orchestrating arguably the best offense in the NFL last season. So welcome to your moment, Ken Dorsey. National spotlight, Super Bowl expectations, and MVP candidate at quarterback. And your first matchup is Raheem Morris and the Rams, led by Donald Wagner and Ramsey. Will the Bills' OC be ready for prime time? As for the number, it's 4. That's how many members of the Rams' offensive line received contract extensions since they last played. From left to right, Joe Noteboom, Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, and most recently, last night in fact, right tackle Rob Havenstein, who has also been named a captain. The 5th member of that starting unit, left guard David Edwards, is entering his 4th NFL season. That's a contract year. So, a lot of faith, a lot of expectations, a lot of opportunity for a group charged with protecting Matthew Stafford and invigorating the Rams' rushing attack. Lastly, here's a nugget for you. It's been exactly 600 days since running back Cam Akers' last touchdown. You might remember he got a score and the 2-point conversion that followed in a 2020 playoff loss at Green Bay. Since then, the unfortunate Achilles injury that cost him most of last season. And along the Rams' path to a world championship, Stafford, of all people, was the only Ram to rush for a playoff touchdown. I expect that all to change tonight. Akers, Darrell Henderson, and rookie running back Kyron Williams give the Rams the deepest, most complete portfolio of backs in the Sean McVay era, especially as pass catchers. All right, JB Long here, counting down to kickoff. Cannot wait for Bills and Rams. Travis and Kirk, back to you.
All right, thanks, JB. So I want to start where JB ended right there, and that's a little bit about the Rams' running back situation. Obviously, Cam Akers, really good backs, had some trouble staying on the field. Darrell Henderson, really good back, had some trouble staying on the field. Kyron Williams, we haven't gotten a chance to see him yet because he was a little nicked up during the preseason and didn't get a chance to be on the field. Cam Akers, obviously, is going to get the first shot, but what are your expectations, Kirk, for that group and the Rams running backs?
I think, honestly, just the competition within that room. I think everybody's vying for carries. And so now you have, I think, 3 capable backs that can carry the football at any point during the game. They have similar characteristics, but also they're a bit different in what they can do. Obviously, the most complete of them all, Cam Akers, but you go behind him and Darrell Henderson. And then Kyron Williams, the young rookie, he's probably going to get some carries, who did a great job, as Sean McVay and the coaching staff talked about in their time over in Cincinnati. So for me, the big thing is honestly just you need healthy backs because they're going to continue throughout the year. This offense is at its best when they have the run game working. The run game has to mirror the pass, and the pass mirrors the run. That's what makes the offense so effective, but you have to have the right guys in there, and I'm fully confident in this bunch that they can go out and get it done.
All right, so let's go on the road, driven by Subaru of Glendale, the #1 Subaru dealer in California. Subaru of Glendale. I'm going to make you do it one more time.
Yeah,
I need this because the Bills are the road team tonight, and the Bills are going to experience something that you experienced your rookie season in the NFL when you were a member of the Oakland Raiders. Yeah. You guys went to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. A Thursday night game, kicking off the entire season. The defending champs come in. They drop the banner. Ozzy Osbourne is in the house, who will be in the house tonight, going to be performing at halftime. What was that like to be on the road in an environment like that?
I think you're kind of experiencing it here. And for the people who are are on the way here or you're listening, it's a sight to see. This isn't just a regular season game. This is the opening game of the regular season. And you can tell by all the different stages that are set up around SoFi Stadium. There's parties here, parties there. There's music going on over there. The tailgates are a little bit different. You can see people are here early. We're still about an hour and a half away from kickoff, and yet it is still so many people who are already here. And
Which is very anti-LA.
Anti-LA, yeah, absolutely. But then as you get a chance, and I had a chance just to glance at the field, and you can see all the television cameras, all the superstars. I've seen a couple of actors and actresses already up there by the Rams house and the Old Spice house I passed by. I'm not trying to plug them, but I'm just looking at everything that's going on around here.
I could use some today, by the way. It's a little steamy out here.
I will pass by there again. But honestly, you see everybody that's here. And I think that I'm reminded of the time playing in that opening game, just how electric, just the energy in the building, especially when you have a team that just won a Super Bowl. So they're going to play that montage of what happened last season. And they're going to show that picture of Aaron Donald pointing to the ring finger. And then they're going to say 3, 2, 1, and boom, that banner is going to fall all the way down. And it's a sense of pride that everybody in that stadium is going to feel. And yet I was on the opposite side. I'm like, I'm trying to spoil this party, right? But yet you realize just what
you get caught up in it at all?
You do for a little bit because it's an extended pregame. It's not your normal pregame. Normal pregame is, home team runs out, then the away team runs out, you booed, national anthem,
play.
Right, captains come out, all right, they receive kickoff. That's not the case today. Today is going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be a lot more spectacle, and you get excited about it because this is just not an ordinary game. This is a standalone game that everybody's going to be watching, everybody's critiquing, live tweets, all of that. So you just knew it was not a regular game.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the new faces that we're going to see here in Los Angeles this year. And let's start with Bobby Wagner, your former position, middle linebacker, a position that the Rams, at least so far in the Sean McVay era, have really not put a ton of emphasis on. They've put some emphasis on the defensive line. They've put emphasis on the secondary as well. But that middle linebacker position has kind of gone through a handful of different hands along the way. Now they have one of the best in the business. Like you mentioned, a guy that has made the Pro Bowl virtually every year that he's been in this league. As somebody that played that position for nearly a decade in the NFL, what does this do for the Rams defense? How does it help Aaron Donald? How does it help Jalen Ramsey knowing that you have Bobby Wagner in the middle of the field like that?
I think the biggest reason that I think it's going to be a success is that they brought in another general, okay? They didn't bring in another football player. They brought in a general. Bobby Wagner's been manning that middle linebacker spot for a long time. And the one thing that he brings is a leadership. And I think the Rams have a void right now. Obviously, with, Andrew Whitworth retires, that's leadership that's going to be gone off the field. Now Bobby Wagner enters it, and he's played in some of the biggest games in NFL history, to be honest. And he's a voice that I think that this team needed. Jalen Ramsey has manned that team in the background, in the secondary. Aaron Donald has really taken the team up in the front end. Bobby Wagner brings an element that the whole defense has to listen to. He's going to be signal calling. He's going to have the green dot in his helmet. So I think that's the excitement that he brings, and that's why I think it's going to be such a success because he's still not an old man. He is a very young man to me still in this game.
Seems highly motivated, too. That this is you maybe want to go in a different direction in Seattle. Well, watch this.
And also, too, he's a Southern California guy, too. So coming home, obviously having the family and friends in attendance, a little more added motivation, but I think it was a home run pick. And to think that he called Les Snead to say, hey, because Bobby Wagner is his own agent, by the way.
Yep.
But he called Les Snead and say, I want to be a Ram. And Les Snead was like, is this a joke? He's like, no, this really is Bobby Wagner.
Who is
and
this?
I want to be a Ram.
Yeah.
So trust me, if somebody calls you and says, hey, I want to come over, this is real.
Caller ID shows up, Wagner, Bobby. Should probably pick that one up and see who's on the other line right there. Let's talk about another member of that defense who isn't there, but will still be in the house tonight. Von Miller. Seemed like the Rams were very aggressive in trying to keep him. Obviously, Buffalo comes in with an incredibly lucrative offer. Right. He decides to go there. He's looking to win a Super Bowl with his third team. Got one in Denver. Got one last season here in L.A. What does the subtraction of Von mean for L.A., and what does the addition of Von mean for Buffalo?
Well, I think the subtraction in Los Angeles is you don't have a closer. That's what Von Miller was. He was brought in to be a closer. You think about baseball just for a minute. When the closer comes in, you already know that means the game's on the line. and he's going to get it done. He's going to get you to the next game. We're going to get you to the championship. Von Miller was that closer last year because his biggest games, they weren't in the regular season. They were in the playoffs. They were a sack in the Super Bowl. They were sacking Garoppolo, sacking, Tom Brady and forcing a fumble early in that game against Tampa Bay. His biggest moments were in the playoffs. That's what the Rams are going to be missing is a finisher and a closer, and that's the reason why Buffalo backed the Brinks truck up to bring in Von Miller because they felt that was the piece that we're missing. So,
do you think that he's the difference? If everything breaks the same for Buffalo the way it did last year, is Von Miller the difference for them winning that Kansas City game? Is it the difference for them going to the AFC Championship, maybe being in here in SoFi last February?
You mentioned it right there. You think about how this Buffalo Bills team, how they ended their season last year. It was Patrick Mahomes basically untouched going down the field in, 13 seconds?
Something
14
like that.
seconds?
Yeah.
Von Miller can have something to do with that. So the Rams addressed the need, and that's the reason why that Von Miller is now a part of the Buffalo Bills.
All right, let's pause 10 seconds for stations that identify themselves on the ESPN LA Rams Radio Network.
KSPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles. Let's go Rams.
All right, we're going to talk with a former Super Bowl champion from the Rams, the St. Louis Rams, Torrey Holt, who joined us a few times last year. He's scheduled to come over here and chat with us for a few minutes. Plus, we'll give you the top 3 games of the week. That's all coming up on the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff on 710 ESPN. Football fans, want to win $100 for picking 5 games against the spread? Just download the Cover 5 app for free. Compete with Travis and Sliwa each week for a chance to win $100. Here's what you need to do. Download the Cover 5 app, use the code TS22 to join our show league and start having fun all season long. Just download the Cover 5 app, use the code TS22 to join the Travis and Sliwa Show League, pick 5 games against the spread to win $100, or play all season long at cover5.com.
Football fans, want to win $100 for picking 5 games against the spread? Just download the Cover 5 app for free. Compete with Mason and me each week for a chance to win $100. Here's what you need to do. Download the Cover 5 app, use code MI22 to join our show league, and then start having fun all season long. Just download the Cover 5 app. Use code MI22 to join the Mason and Ireland Show League. Pick 5 games against the spread to win $100, or play all season long at cover5.com.
Started tonight here at SoFi Stadium, the defending champion Super Bowl Rams. And if you think I'm going to get tired of saying that anytime soon, you do not know me very well. That sounds amazing. And, of course, they're going to get tested right out of the chute tonight. Buffalo, the number 1 pick, according to Las Vegas, to win the Super Bowl this year. But that is not the only game this week, Kirk. We are off and running after tonight, which brings us to our top 3 games presented by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. There's a bunch of good games this weekend. Let's start with this one. Let's start with the Steelers and the Bengals. Bengals, of course, are your defending AFC champs. Tell me if you agree with this. Do the Bengals feel like that Rams team that went to Super Bowl 53, that maybe they got there a little bit quicker than anybody anticipated, and now all of a